Hi there, my name is Gabriella and today we're going to do some simple stretches to stretch out the legs, the hips and the arms. You may want to have some yoga bricks and a belt. If you don't have these, any book or strap will do if you struggle a bit with your flexibility. So we're going to begin lying down on our mats. So we're going to start off here, crossing the right leg over the left knee, stretching as the hips first, and just placing the right hand on the inside of the right knee and just push that leg back. So gently stretching and opening that hip, and taking some nice deep breaths. And just observing any tightness you may feel. And you may notice when you're doing these stretches, one side might be a little bit tighter than the other. That's perfectly normal. And then from here, we're just going to take the hands and interlace them through the gap, grabbing the rope, taking around the left thigh and just pulling back. And again, you can still place the right hand on that right knee and push away, or you can just draw that left leg in and just getting a lovely stretch around the hip here and the top of the thigh. And taking a couple more deep breaths. Or if you're familiar with yoga, introducing your Ujjayi breath. And from here we're going to release and place the left foot on the mat. Taking the arms in line with shoulders, we're just going to let the body roll over. So from the waist we're going to roll over towards the left. So the right foot may come to the floor, it may not. If it doesn't, then that's okay. You may want to put a little block or something underneath the left knee for support, if you don't want the leg just hanging there. And just again observing any stretching. You may not feel anything, you may feel something. And coming back to centre. Keeping the left leg bent, we're going to lift the right leg up in the air, nice and straight. And you can either take hold of the calf or the foot, or use a belt. And just stretch that leg. So if you'd want to make it a little bit more intense, you could just lengthen out that the left leg to the floor, taking a flex on the foot will give you a nice stretch in the back of that left leg at the same time. And again, taking some more deep breath. And releasing from the foot, we're then just going to take hold of the leg and we're just going to point and flex the feet. So just taking a few points of flex here on that right leg. Just working into the ankles a little bit and releasing. And we're going to cross the left leg over the right knee, right hand on the floor, placing left hand on the inside of that left knee and pushing open. A couple of breaths. Deep breaths. So deep breathing is very good for the lungs, especially if you're a runner or a cyclist. You'll find if you practice deep breathing over time, you'll be able to run further before getting out of breath. Because we're exercising our lungs. Our lungs are muscles as well as all the other muscles in our body. From here, releasing, threading the arms through the gap in the leg, interlacing the fingers around the right thigh, and just drawing back, stretching into that left hip. Continuing with the deep breathing or Ujjayi breath. And from here, releasing, placing the right foot on the floor, taking the arms in line with shoulders. We're going to roll over to the right side. The upper back is staying on the mat. And we're going to bring that left foot to the floor. And again, if it doesn't reach, you can place a block or something underneath that right leg or a cushion just to give it some support. And we're going to turn the gaze towards the left or just look straight up. Continuing with the deep breath, just observing the body and releasing, coming back to centre, either keeping that right leg bent or straighten out, flexing the right foot. We're going to lift the left leg up in the air and either holding the leg or taking the hands around the foot, or your strap around the foot so the leg can be nice and straight. We're going to stretch this leg. And again, you can lengthen out the right leg if you wish. As I said, flex on the foot. If you want a little bit more intense, and drawing this leg back. So that's a really, really lovely stretch. If you've been doing a lot of running, you're going to get a nice deep stretch on the back of the leg. Just noticing, remembering if anything feels wrong, then stop. We don't want to cause any injuries. And from here, we're going to release the hands from the foot. If they're around the foot, we're going to straighten up that leg, and we're going to take a few points and flexes in the foot. So just working into those ankle joints. And release, hugging the knees in. We're going to rock forward, and we're going to sit up. And we are going to bring the right leg in and lengthen out the left leg. So coming into Janusha-sasana A, head to knee pose, we're just going to take the hands if you're a little bit stiff either side of the leg and hinge forward from the hip joint, gaze forward. Or if you're quite flexible, we can walk forward, take the hands around the feet to just bring the head towards the knee. So we're lengthening the spine forward, gaze can be forward or you can look down. And again, taking some more rounds of deep breath. And all the while just observing the body. And releasing from here. So now we're going to take that right leg and we're going to take it back like so. So we're just going to stretch into the quads. Now, some of you might find that quite uncomfortable. So if you do, you can take your block or your yoga block and you can just sit up on your block here. It's going to give your body a bit more space and it's going to make the posture less intense. So from this position, we're going to bend that left leg and we're going to take our belt or our hands around our foot and sitting up nice and tall, we're going to lift that leg up. So try not to lean back. It's not about how high you get your leg, so don't want you going like this. We want the back to be nice and straight. And we want to get a nice stretch on that leg and in the hip joint, okay? So, just lift that leg up and on every exhalation, see if the leg will come a little higher. We want to engage the abs and pull the spine up long. And you can play around with it. See, maybe you want to hold the heel or maybe you want to hold around the toes. I personally find the arch of the foot is quite nice. Or the heel. Just hugging the leg in, so the longer you hold, the more that hip joint is going to release and allow you to lift the leg up nice and high. And we're going to release the leg down and do the other side. So we're going to lengthen out the right leg. We're going to bring the left foot to the inside of the right thigh, just adjusting as you need to. Taking the blocks if you need them, taking the hands to the floor, we're just going to hinge forward from the hips, or rubbing the foot, and take head to knee pose on the other side. And just taking a few rounds again of deep breath, and just observing the stretch. And you can bring the gaze to look forward or you can fold right down over the leg. We want to try and avoid rounding the spine and looking towards the groin. So just folding here, a couple more breaths. Drawing the left knee to the earth and flexing on the right foot, drawing the right knee to the earth. And now we're going to do the same on the other side. So releasing, taking the leg back, coming into Kranchasana posture, we're going to bring the leg in here, taking the belt or the hands around the foot and sitting up nice and tall, engaging the abs, we're going to lift the leg up and come into Kranchasana again on the other side. So sitting up nice and tall, lengthening through the spine, holding around the middle of the foot or the heel, or wherever you feel most comfortable, and still breathing Adjusting, so just go with what feels right for you. Drawing the leg up on every exhalation. Lovely stretch. Holding here for a couple more breaths. Ujjayi breath, remember, or just deep breath. Just feeling the stretch and releasing from here and releasing that back leg or the left leg and coming round to face me. So we're going to take the right leg out to the side and bring the left foot in towards the groin. And from here we're going to place the right hand on the floor, your more gentle option, or grabbing hold of the left knee. Okay, so gentle option here, we're going to sweep the left arm across and reach, or grab the foot or use a belt. Otherwise, if you're quite flexible, you can grab that knee and coming into revolved head to knee pose and just take a twist here. And taking some deep breath. Feeling and observing that lovely stretch in the side of the body, in the hips and in the legs. And release. Doing the same on the other side. Bringing the right leg in and taking the left leg out to the side. Revolved head to knee pose, Janusha D. Gentle option, hand on floor or forearm down. Leaning over or grabbing the knee. And just adjusting if you need to. Grabbing the knee and reach over, grabbing the outside of the left foot or using a belt around the foot and just drawing yourself through or just leaning to the side. This is one of my favourite stretches. So lovely. Stretching every part of the body practically. I can really feel it down my right side today. And one more breath and release. Coming back up, we're going to swivel those legs round. We'll come into cow face pose now. So your gentle option is straightening the left leg and stepping over with the right leg, sitting on a block if you're a bit tight in the hips. Otherwise, you can bring the right foot round towards the left hip and stack the knees like so. If you're quite flexible and you're okay with this, we're going to bring the left leg in, stepping the right leg over, drawing the leg round, stacking the knees. So this is going to give you a really nice stretch around the top of the thighs and around the hip area. We're going to take the left hand over the left shoulder and grab the right hand. And sitting up nice and tall here, we're just going to stretch into those arms and shoulders, top of legs and hips. And if you want to make it a little bit deeper, you can take a little lean forward. And you come forward more, so we're not rounding the spine, we're just hinging from the hips. If you can't reach the hand behind you, remember you can use your belt to bridge the gap. We want that left elbow pointing upwards towards the sky if we can. And releasing from here and doing the same on the other side. So taking the right leg through or having it straight, stepping the left leg over, keeping it there if you're a little bit tight, or drawing it round, stacking the knees. We're going to take the right arm over the right shoulder and grab the left hand using a belt if you can't reach, elbow pointing upwards, and just either staying here or taking the lean forward. And remembering, if you struggle to sit down on with your bottom on the floor and you feel a bit crunched up, sitting on a block is going to help. So taking a few more rounds of deep breath here, either hinging forward from the hips or sitting straight, up to you. Okay, you go with what suits your body best. And still taking those deep healing breaths. And we're going to release, coming back up to seated, releasing those arms, giving them a little shake, releasing the legs, swiveling round, and coming onto our knees, just taking a little child's pose, stretch out here. Taking a breath in and exhale out. And coming up onto all fours, last couple of stretches. We're going to step the right leg forward and we're going to tuck the left toes under. So looking at my left toes here, we're going to bring the right foot onto the heel and then we're going to bring the bottom back to sit onto the left heel. And we're going to lengthen forward with the hands on the floor. So we're stretching into our feet here in the back of our right leg. So hands on the floor here, reaching forward. If you struggle to reach, remember we can use our books or our blocks and just lengthen and forward. Or if you're a little bit tight again in the hips and that's too intense for you, we can just stay here. Okay. Popping those to one side. And release. We're going to push that right foot forward now. Shimmy it forward. Hands either side of the foot or on blocks. And we're going to push forward. Inhaling here. Exhale, rock back, straighten that leg, toes pointing to the sky. Inhale, push forward. Exhale, rock back. Releasing, bringing that right leg back. We're going to step forward with the left foot. And right toes tucked under, sit back on the heel, just walk the hands back so we're stretching into that right foot. Blocks either side of the left leg or hands on the floor and take a fold forward or just hinge a little bit here, okay? Taking some more deep breath. That's a good stretch. From here, we're going to release, pushing the left foot to the floor. Inhale, rock forward. Exhale, rock back, toes to the sky. Inhale, rock forward. Exhale, push back. Releasing, last posture, coming onto the knees. We're going to take the legs right nice and wide and bring the forearms to the floor and come into frog pose. So we're just going to slide the legs out. So you can turn the other way if you want to have your knees on the mat to face me. And from here we're just going to push back a little ways. If you want to make it a little bit more intense, you can rest the forehead down on the hands. And that's quite intense if you're quite stiff in the hips. And we can just rock forward and push back. So just little rocking motions, just working into those hip joints and the insides of the thighs. Breathing with movement and loving every minute of it. It's kind of one of those stretches, you're going to love it but hate it at the same time, a bit like Marmite, I think. Lovely. And from here, release, bring the knees back in, take another child's pose, stretch out, lengthen through the spine. Big breath in and exhale out. And release, walking the hands back in. Coming up to a seated position, crossing the legs or sitting on a block. And taking the hands to the knees, take a deep breath in. Reach the hands up. And lengthen the spine, exhale, lower the arms down. Inhale, reach up, lengthen, maybe look up. And exhale, lower down. One more deep breath in. Lengthen, exhale, lower down. Bring the hands to the heart center. Thank you for joining me today. Have a lovely day. Namaste.